these questions. All right. Hello, everyone, and welcome to this free presentation regarding Tantric Kabbalah. And we have Mahkah Das Elumen here with us today. I'm going to be having a conversation with him to hear what his perspective is on the Tantric Kabbalah journey, what his experience has been, and a little bit about him and what he'll be offering to you in support during your journey this year.
Thank you.
Hi, Mahkah.
Thanks for having me.
Yeah, thanks for being here.
Thanks for setting this up.
Yeah, so if you were to describe the Tantric Kabbalah journey to somebody who had never experienced it, doesn't know even what Tantra Kabbalah is,
right?
What would you tell them? What do you think would be important for them to know?
Someone who's never experienced Tantra or Kabbalah or yoga, I would describe this journey, this 9-month journey, as a opportunity to heal and to grow and to discover within yourself your ultimate passion in life, or to prepare or to prime yourself for that which is within you that you want to create, and what your life purpose is. So you'll go through a healing experience, whether that's healing trauma or an injury or mental, physical, emotional from this lifetime or a past lifetime, if you believe in that. So it's a healing journey where you'll be empowered through healing that which is ready to heal, that you might be aware of, or you might not have any ideas going on. So there's going to be a healing aspect. And then with that, a transformational, empowering energy or quality of the journey is tied right into the healing. So as you go through healing what needs to be healed, you're also...
So you're saying it's a healing journey.
Well, yeah, I was about to move on from that. So after you go from healing what needs to be healed, because we all need healing, we're all wounded in some way, shape, or form. Many of us
are wounded. Yes.
have wounds
and scars.
Scars, whether it's mental, emotional, or physical. So a big part of it is healing. Like I'd say the whole journey, there's different levels of healing, but especially in the beginning, it's like, okay, this stuff's coming up. And okay, what do we do with it? We either ignore it. Maybe it needs to be ignored. Maybe it doesn't. Most of the time it doesn't. Or it needs to be looked at. So you look at it, and that's what I consider healing. We're looking at that which is wanting to be healed, whatever it's from a physical, a mental, emotional, relationship, whatever. From there, you get to learn how to be the master of your own experience. So what does that mean? You learn how to manage, direct, control your mind, body, and energy, your thoughts, your emotions, your feelings, your creativity, your interactions with people in the world and the world. It's pretty much like a course of how to be human. It's kind of like what I feel should be taught, not should, but could be taught for the benefit of all beings in schools.
Yeah.
So you learn how to read, you learn how to write, you learn how to do some math.
You learn what your emotions are for.
And then you learn, what do I do when I'm angry? What do I do when I'm sad? How do I express my creativity? What do I do when I don't feel creative? How do I deal with this thing that this person said to me and now I feel shitty? So it's learning how to deal, control, manage, maneuver through mind, body, emotions, and how to enhance them or how to clear the plate. Because it's like when one thing happens to us when we're kids, so we don't get picked first in the sport team, or we don't make the team, or we don't have the friends we want to make, or that person says no when you ask them to the prom, or you get abused in some way, shape, or form. And then something else happens, and something else negative happens, and it like piles up. By the time you're in high school, you graduate.
Yeah, and it can be hard to know how to know.
And then it's like, what do I do with all this baggage, with these emotions, with these feelings? So really, this journey is healing, and it's learning how then to, from this state of healing or being healed, how to live life being the, what I call, master of your mind, body, emotions, and energy. So you're gonna learn these aspects of yourself in a very tangible, meet you where you are type of way, using these ancient tools from yoga. And yoga, so is like the tantric side, is another word for tantra. It could be yoga, not necessarily the physical postures, that's a piece of it, but from these tantric practices and Kabbalah practices that are ancient, very old, have been proven to work over time. That's why they still exist. So from learning and having these tools from the Tantra and the yoga, then applying them to your life and learning how to use them in a way that suits you and fits you for your healing and awakening process. And awakening to me is learning how to master your mind, body, and emotions. So that's what I would say, I guess, to someone.
So yeah, what I'm hearing is the first part is the healing part, and then after you've done that healing
or started it
through
deeply
yes,
started
because
to go,
there are so many layers.
It could take a lifetime.
And it can take a long time. Yes.
So start the healing process, moving through it. Yeah.
Using the Tantric Kabbalah techniques and practices that we offer the students. And then you get to move in from that place of healing. You're a new person. You're a different person.
For sure.
And the way that you're going to be interacting with the world is different, because it's kind of like pressing the restart button when you have done that healing piece and are doing that healing piece, as you say.
Yeah.
And then you get to use the tools then to navigate, like, well, who am I now? And what do I want instead of what was? What am I replacing it with? Would you say that that's accurate?
Yeah.
What you're saying? Cool.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Pretty much.
Thank you.
Yeah.
That's a beautiful.
We can talk about that question the whole
so
time.
Long.
So
yeah,
it's
yeah.
Because it's such a potent experience.
Well, okay, go ahead. Yeah.
I was gonna say, I've seen people come into it and leave like reborn.
Yes.
Issues or problems or trauma that they've been dealing with their whole life, within these 9 months, they get a whole new perspective, or they heal it to the core, or you might
realize, like, this is what I need to shift, and this is my work right now for a while.
Yeah, like
it can take time.
I've been doing this thing my whole life, and actually that's why I'm suffering. And oh my God, now I realize it, and I'm doing something about it, and now I feel so much better. And then your whole life changes once you start feeling better more often.
Yeah.
So
And we have seen students, because, as we were just saying, these realizations and the healing can come in layers. We're giving what we're ready for.
Sure.
And so we've seen students repeat and go through this journey multiple times, time and time again. And each time they're making refinements to their consciousness and their awareness. And it's a really beautiful thing to watch, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh yeah. Yeah, it's awesome. And because it's not just about healing. I think that's a big thing in our culture, especially on the West Coast and everywhere. But it's this, like, I'm healing. I'm wounded. I need healing. And it's like people spend their whole lives healing. But when does the healing stop? So it's like, that's what.
When are we healed?
When are we healed from this
right.
thing? And even the masters are still healing. Like Kriana said, we're always healing or going through something, whether it's
having realizations,
whether it's a phone call we just had, or a physical healing. But it's like the healing process can eventually become quick, rather than holding it in and baking it bigger into a volcano. It can just be a little drop.
Yeah, thanks for bringing that up, because I think some of the tools that we offer on this journey, we've talked about mastery doesn't mean that you never get triggered or you never have anything to heal or never have any issue to deal with anymore. It just means that you have the tools, and some tools that really work are provided on this journey to transmute that stuff really quickly,
Right.
rather than stuffing it and being afraid of it and pushing it down, which we see a lot of humans doing these days.
Right.
Yeah. It's a different way of being with ourselves and each other.
Yeah, because the tools that we offer, the practices, the teachings are proven to work because they've been around for hundreds and thousands of years,
yes.
and there's results, and the results are positive if applied and taught properly.
Yeah, thank you. That's beautiful. I feel like if I heard you describe that to me, I would be very interested in what this is all about.
If I didn't know you or this and I heard that, I'd be like, okay, cool.
Yeah. Well, let's find out some more. So
totally
tell our viewers what it is that you have studied and what you're bringing to the journey that is unique to you, because we're doing this this round, which is very different than what we've done in the past, is we have 3 additional facilitators, co-facilitators for the journey other than myself, and Mahkah is one of them. We also have Christopher Walcott and Aria Rohn, and they're each going to be bringing a unique piece and working with our larger group in 3 smaller groups, which we're right now calling core groups. So Mahkah is a core group leader, and those students who choose to work with him on the journey more deeply will have an opportunity to sit with him for an hour or 2 each month in between our monthly gatherings and get some deeper insight that comes from the perspective that Mahkah brings based upon his training. So please, yes, tell everyone what that is.
Sure. I'll start from the beginning. I got introduced to metaphysics and Tibetan Buddhism by my sister Deneen at a very young age, probably like 8, 9, 10. She started teaching me how to meditate, how to focus on my breath, teach me about energy, stuff like
Buddhism,
that.
Yeah?
But yeah, Tibetan Buddhism. Tibetan Buddhism.
Sorry if you said that already.
Yeah, it's all good.
I missed it.
Yeah, metaphysics and Tibetan Buddhism were my first introduction to this spiritual world. From there, I read books like Eckhart Tolle's Be Here Now and some Deepak Chopra books and started getting into that world. But I didn't really dive deep into my inner world until after I started partying very hard in the Chicago underground rave scene, where I was a DJ for many years.
Things got kind of gnarly there.
Things got really intense. The sex, drugs, rock and roll thing. I dived deep into that world, that external world of pleasure and substances, and explored my mind and my body in that way. But that didn't last long until I felt my body literally dying. And because I was so mindful, I think is a big factor, thanks to my sister introducing me to meditation and being aware of my breath. I was always very sensitive to things and observant of my inner being as much as my outer world.
And
so
care for yourself too.
Yeah, and a lover of life. Yeah, loving life and loving my body, and noticing that, okay, smoking a pack of cigarettes every 2 days and doing drugs every weekend, this isn't feeling good. And why am I doing it? Yeah, it was fun, but anyway, started going deep into a dark hole there and was like, whoa, what do I do? I feel horrible. And my sister again said, you should do some yoga. I was like, okay, I'm part of this gym. They got a yoga class. I'll go. I went to my first yoga class in 2006 and got hooked right there. It was a vinyasa class. My first teacher, Patty Lupo in Chicago. And then I went in hard dive into the yoga world.
You're hooked immediately.
Hooked immediately. Hatha yoga is my main practice. I guess you'd say I'm a yogi. Hatha yoga, the practice of postures, breathing exercises, and meditation, is Hatha yoga. Is my main practice. Since 2006. I started teaching, and then I got involved teaching yoga, hatha yoga. In 2010, I did training in Chicago, and then an advanced teacher training in Los Angeles with Noel Maze, and I studied with many amazing teachers, including Richard Freeman, Mati Ezraiti, Tim Miller, Chuck Miller, Darren Rhodes, and beyond. I've spent a lot of time studying yoga. So that's my main background, is the postures, coming from a very Iyengar approach. So very focused on alignment, how the poses can be practiced in a way to maintain or to gather the ultimate benefits of each pose, because each yoga pose is like medicine. It does something very specific to your mind, body, and energy, because it's a holistic practice. So I've spent a lot of time studying poses, what they do, and the best way to practice each pose from Iyengar yoga. So yoga, asana, pranayama, the breathing practice, and meditation, I've been doing that. That's my main practice. I've also, I'm a Reiki master, so I've been attuned to the Reiki master level. I got that initiation done in 2008. What else? Am I? Yeah, okay. So I got into Abraham Hicks at 2010-ish, and have been studying the teachings of Abraham. I've listened to probably thousands of YouTube videos on Abraham Hicks. I've gone to many events where you can be with them. Abraham is an entity or a collective of beings that is channeled by Esther Hicks. Ideally, they're pure love consciousness of the collective universe, not just a being, but all that ever was and is. It's really powerful. I've been blessed to sit in front of them and ask them questions on 4 different occasions, personal questions. You can find my recordings on YouTube. I can maybe share those. So now I've been studying the law of attraction as taught by Abraham Hicks. I've been studying that and teaching that for a while.
And that inspired you to write a book, didn't it?
That inspired me. Yeah, life inspired me to write a book. I started just writing down things that would come to me, for many years. And then I thought, whoa, I have a lot of stuff here. Why don't I write a book? And I wrote, when I moved to Portland back in 2015, I started writing a book, and it's going to be available online for free, an ebook actually, called Go All the Way, a self-mastery handbook for all. So it's a book to basically help you to master your mind, body, and emotions in a very practical way, for the guy on Wall Street or a farm boy in Ohio to someone who's never meditated before, to someone who's a monk.
Accessible for everyone.
So it's accessible for everyone. It's the law of attraction, yoga. I've been studying meditation since I was a young child, like I mentioned. So I've different forms of meditation from a Buddhist perspective. So a lot of meditation of watching the mind, creating mindfulness, creating presence, and being in the now moment. Also of teachings like from Eckhart Tolle, how he teaches meditation of this being present, which creates deep states of clarity and mindfulness. So I have a lot of experience and practice in that type of meditation. And I don't know why I can't think of who am I? Who am I? Yeah.
I think that's those are pretty potent.
Oh wait, I have a list. Hold on.
Yeah. So while you're looking at your list, I just want to say that it's very appropriate, I guess. It's pretty cool. When Mahkah and I first met, you were just finishing up your book, I believe. Had you finished it?
I was finishing it up. Yeah. I was editing the final drafts.
Yeah. And Tantra Kabbalah was in full swing, and we were already doing these 9-month journeys, multiple journeys when we met. And every time he would ask me, like, oh, tell me about this work that you do. And I would explain what it was and how we were, the belief system that is associated with these teachings, which are a very universal form of spirituality. It was very cool because you kept saying, "Oh, that's in my book.
Oh, right. Yeah.
That's in my book. That's
Totally.
in my book." And I think that was one of the things that we were like, wow, okay, there's something good going on here. And so it's very
complementary.
Yeah, complementary.
Our
and
backgrounds and our teachings.
It just makes sense that you're holding space for the journey because you already were there. You already had written a book about a lot of the things that we're teaching. So,
right.
Like the book goes really well with the journey.
Yeah.
And that's what one of the things you said you would be.
It will be. Yeah, we'll get to that next.
Yeah, thank you.
Yeah, for sure. Another thing that I've studied my whole life. I've been studying spiritual masters. So people I consider spiritual masters is Jesus, Yeshua, the Buddha, Amma, the Hugging Saint, who's our guru, Neem Karoli Baba, who's Ram Dass's guru, other people, Iyengar, Iyengar, Pattabhi Jois, Krishnamacharya, who's original Hatha Yoga founder, to Anandamaima, to Ram Dass, and other modern Eckhart Tolle, Sadhguru, Bhagavan Das,
who is coming into his mastery now.
Who is a master of kirtan and nada yoga. Nada yoga, thank you. Nada yoga is the yoga of sound.
Yes.
And I've been studying that also for a while, which goes in the yoga category. So I got the Hatha yoga as a big background of mine, the main one, but also Nada yoga, which is the yoga of sound, which is like raga or kirtan or chanting, using sound as a way of using mantra, using sound as a way of experiencing the God within you, this vibration. So I've studied with Bhagavan Das, who is a master of Nada yoga and kirtan, and who's coming into this beautiful power. I think he's a great guy. And I studied Nada yoga with him over 50 hours probably. And then I've studied with Michael Sterling briefly. Raga and Raga and Tambura and voice cultivation. I've studied with him for about a year.
What's the name of the other instrument that you play?
I play the Ektara. And didgeridoo,
gong,
yeah, that's where
drums.
I was about to go. So you have the Hatha yoga, the Nada yoga, Bhakti yoga. I'm a Bhakti yogi hardcore. Bhakti yoga is hardcore Bhakti yogi.
Devotion.
Your Bhakti yoga is the yoga of love, the yoga of devotion, of looking for, finding, feeling, manifesting the God within ourselves and all beings. It's the main practice in India. Is the yoga of devotion. So I've been practicing that, which is just, it's not really a practice. It's a practice, but that's just everything.
You have a whole lot to offer students.
Yeah, it's I'm more the tantric side of the Tantra Kabbalah. I've only been studying Kabbalah since I got initiated in 2016. This will be my fourth journey or so that I've held space for and gone through the tree, fourth time, right? I think so.
Something like that.
3 or 4, at least 3. I think this last one I was holding space for my child while Christopher and Kriana and Arya held space. But anyway, so I'm more of the tantric side, the tantric yoga aspect of this journey. I'm still learning. I'm still a student of Kabbalah more than I can teach any of it. So,
but it all weaves together.
It all weaves together.
Which is why we teach it together.
Yeah, and sound healing. I've been doing sound healings since 2008. I've been into music my whole life. Started playing drums, drum kit, then was in a metal band for a long time, and then got into the DJing world, and then start getting deeper into my spiritual practice and being like, well, what's this spiritual music about? How do I use music as a way of healing and activating and awakening and transforming and creating peace and love in the world through sound and community? So I got into using drums, shakers, voice, didgeridoo for many years, sound healing. And now I focus primarily on gongs, doing gong sound healing. So using sound as a healing tool, a healing and awakening tool.
So it sounds like you've been really deep into your spiritual practice for about 10 or 11 years, and you started
My
working
spiritual
with,
practice? Yeah, since I started yoga,
you were introduced
practicing
young,
yoga,
and you kind of went on
2006.
a side trip for a while, and then that side trip made you realize how important your spiritual practice is.
2006, both feet in the water.
Yeah, so 13 years.
Whatever that is.
And you've been, you dove into yoga, all the aspects of yoga, sound healing, and the law of attraction. Very immersed yourself in those practices in particular, and are bringing those now. So let's hear what you envision for the students and what kind of space, what you'll be introducing and to them and helping them with along the journey that would be complementary to the standard teachings that everyone's receiving.
Sure, thank you. Yeah, so as a core facilitator, is that what we're calling it?
Yes,
core facilitator. For now,
unless we come up with a more fun name.
If you're in my group, you'll learn about how to use sound as a healing and awakening tool, whether that's your voice or an instrument you love, maybe guitar, drum. So how to use sound as a way of healing and awakening, and enjoying life. How to use, sound has been with us since the beginning of our time, the drum, singing. So how to use sound, applying sound, sacred sound.
How to use sound.
How to use sound as a sacred healing and awakening tool.
Yes.
Yeah. And that will be by using your own, creating your own sound. So again, using your voice or an instrument or starting up an instrument.
Through toning mantras.
Yeah, through mantras or through
how sound makes you feel.
Or that, or playing that heart, or playing an instrument that you maybe have never, or applying a different aspect to an instrument that you've already been playing for a while.
Yes.
Right. And then this will also be attending my gong baths as well, and experiencing on the receiving mode.
Nice.
Yeah. So sound healing is sacred sound as a tool. Learning more about hatha yoga, so learning more how our poses, the poses and the breathing exercise work with the energies of each torus or each sephra or chakra of the tree, because we'll be going through the chakra system in the Tantra Kabbalah journey with the tree of life equally, and learning how different poses and breathing exercises can help you to work with the energies that arise for you in each sephra, in each chakra that is worked on. So using different asanas, the postures that correlate to the root chakra and then the solar plexus and the third eye, and etc. To focus on, and also breathing exercises. So going deeper into the world of yoga, whether you've been practicing it for a while or you're new to it, I'll be teaching in a way that, giving you instructions in a way that's appropriate, safe, and for any level, skill level, that will help to, with whatever comes up each month.
Nice.
So diving deep into hatha yoga. We'll be studying my book. So it will be a free ebook, like I said, Go All the Way, name of the book. Kind of doing like a book study group kind of. We'll be like, have this chapter read by this next meeting, and then we'll talk about it and how to apply it to your life and customize it, because that's really what the book's all about, is customizing your own spiritual practice. So we'll look at teachings in the book, which is law of attraction and meditation and yoga, a lot of things I'm talking about, how to deal with your mind, body, emotions, addiction, loss, what have you. So we'll be going through my book and applying practices and teachings from the book into your life. Learning about the law of attraction, so as taught by Abraham Hicks, how to apply, mastering the law of attraction, pretty much. It's like the number one thing that I feel like should be taught in like third grade, second grade, right when kids start understanding this stuff. How do things happen? Why do they happen? Why do things happen to me? Why don't things happen to me? How does it work? Because it's quite simple once you really understand it. And a lot of people I've noticed don't have this firm grasp on this law that's as strong and powerful as the law of gravity.
Yeah.
So we'll really be diving into how to apply the law of attraction to your life and really understand it.
Yeah, because there's a lot of misunderstanding, I believe, about the law of attraction in general.
Totally, yeah, because there's so many ways of looking about it. But and then I'll be sharing Abraham Hicks videos that have helped me that will apply to whatever I'm talking about. And then lastly is we'll be studying the Tibetan rainbow body, or the rainbow body of light. It's called by many different spiritual traditions of the world. All have this practice of called different things. The Tibetans call it the rainbow body. Generally, it's called the rainbow light body. And it's basically a practice that purifies the body into a way where you have control over your mind, body, and emotions to such an extent that you can choose the time of your death. You pretty much leave the body mindfully, deliberately, and some masters transform into light when they pass.
Rainbow, like colors.
They don't turn into rainbows, but rainbows appear in the room, literally, or around them. This is something I've been studying for a couple years now, pretty hardcore. There's documented cases, over 160, of beings, masters. I call them masters because they've mastered their energy and their body and their mind, where when they die, they literally, some of them shrink in size and then burst into light and completely disappear. Some of them don't even shrink. They just, at the time of their death, they're there, and then there's a flash and they're gone. They say that Yeshua, Jesus, experienced, Jesus was practice these teachings of the rainbow body, and that's what his resurrection body is actually happening. Is he going through this rainbow body teachings, came back in his spirit light form. You look at a lot of so we'll learn about this. We'll talk more about what this is. I'm very fascinated by it.
And we have on our YouTube channel an entire presentation
that
you gave about this.
I have an entire hour-and-a-half webinar for free on YouTube where I talk all about this. So if you go to Toren Collective on YouTube, look for Awaken Your Rainbow Light Body is the title, and you can learn way more about this. Get a sample if you want to go deeper into this practice. So we'll talk about what it is, and then how to apply the teachings specifically from Tibetan Buddhism, because in Tibetan Buddhism is the most documented cases, and it's the practice I connect with the most. But like I said, most religions, spiritual practices from Sufism, Taoism, Hinduism, Tantric practices, Buddhism, the Egyptian, the Essenes, they all have a practice of when you die, you turn into light. Like literally, that's not just a metaphor.
It's fascinating.
Amazing.
It's very different than the way we think of death in our culture.
And a lot of it has to do with diet, chanting mantras,
being in control of your mind,
being as loving and compassionate as you can every moment of your life. Those are like the three main keys. So we'll learn more about this and how to apply it to your life and what that means to you. Not necessarily like, okay, I don't know if I want to burst into light when I die, but if you wanted to, you had that choice. That's how masterful you would be of your mind, body, and emotions, which I guess is the theme of what I'm saying about this journey. Is you're like, literally in a nutshell, you're learning how to control, direct your emotions, your thoughts, your energy, what you give your attention to, what you create in your life, which uplifts and your relationships, your health, your physical well-being, your clarity. When you feel good consistently throughout your life, your life gets better and better and better. It doesn't mean bad shit doesn't happen. It doesn't mean you don't get sick. You just know how to deal with whatever life throws at you.
Thank you.
And so those are the main topics that I'll be going through in our study groups.
Thank you, Maka. Wow.
And
You're bringing so much to this journey.
Well,
and
thank you for letting me bring it, because I love to teach, and so I'm happy to be back in the teacher's seat.
I feel like I want to be a part of your, well, I am part of your core group, because I mean, we hang out every day.
Yeah, we talk about this stuff all the time.
We are. I'm in your core group already. Yeah.
So if you want to get a more sample of this stuff, you can check out my book. Currently, you can order it on Amazon. Go All the Way, a Self-Mastery Handbook for all by Mahkah Das. Go on our YouTube channel, Toren Collective, and check out that Awaken Your Rainbow Body seminar, our webinar. Come to a gong bath, and you can get a little more of a sample, a taste of what I'm talking about.
Thank you. Thank you.
Mm-hmm.
Awesome. All right. So, like all things in this journey, the entire journey is very unique in that the teachings that are given for the group of people that show up. And I'm guessing that you'll be running your group in much the same way, because that's one of the ways that we teach at Toren Collective is we have a huge toolbox, all of the teachers do, and we're drawing from that toolbox for who shows up. So these offerings that you have are going to look different according to what's needed and the students that show up and want to work with you.
Yeah, these are the topics I'm going to cover mainly, but how I present everything is completely customized to who shows up.
What comes through specifically around those topics, yeah.
Totally, yeah. I kind of work in a more spontaneous way like that. Yeah.
It's kind of a requirement for being a part of our organization.
All right. Yeah, you can have an outline and a plan, but you have to adjust it to who shows up to make it customized to meet people where they're at, so they have a personalized experience that works for them.
Yeah. Thank you. Well, I really am looking forward to this journey, and thank you so much. And,
thank you.
We have three more interviews coming up with Christopher Walcott and Arya Rohn and myself that you can watch. We also have a YouTube video that is an hour-long talk just about the Tantric Kabbalah journey and all of the details, which you can check out on our YouTube channel as well. And we look forward to being with you and assisting you along on your journey and helping you to make your life exactly what you want it to be. Thank you so much.
Thank you, Jai.